evening, everyone. Today we are having another session with Srinivasan Kalyanaraman sir. Those who are new to this channel, he worked as director in Saraswati Research Center and also president of the Ramasetu Production Movement of India and also member of the board of directors of the World Association for Vedic Studies. Good evening, sir. How are you today?
Namaskaram.
So I am giving the panel to you, sir. Please continue your session. If you need anything, I will be in backstage.
Okay. Namaskaram. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyaramam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Mesa. We will be going through a remarkable concordance of evidence from two major sources. One is Indusscript, second is the Rigveda and Vedic tradition. You know, these are the two major resources we have, which have been maintained for millennia, almost more than 5,000 years, about 5,000 years. Both relate to one common factor, arrival of metals, metals age. We know the antiquity of iron takes us back to the 4th millennium from the findings of Shivagalai in Tamil Nadu. Recently, 2025, a document has been published called Antiquity of Iron. You know, it's remarkable that this antiquity of iron is celebrated in the Rigveda, which is narratives. So we are now trying to relate narratives of both the Rigveda and Indusscript. Indusscript has narratives, Rigveda has narratives. So we will see both are very tough to decipher. Rigveda has been a very tough document, but it is revered. They are the mantras. They are seen by the ancestors and recorded from generation to generation with absolute fidelity. So we have to give respect to the documentation in the Vedic tradition. Similarly, we have to give respect to the documentation in the Indusscript tradition. They are documented so carefully, so remarkably orthographed. So one is a medium with artistry, another is a medium with literature, metaphors, language, the eloquence of the poets in the Rigveda, the eloquence of the devotees in the Rigveda, their prayers to the divinities. So they are surprised by astonishingly things that are happening in the metal age. They are wondering what is going on. What is the source of this development? Something divine is happening. So they started prayers. The very first prayer is Agnimele Purohitam. So the firework is common to both Indusscript and Rigveda. Okay? With this background, we can go through the narratives that are recorded from the text and try to match it with the Indusscript tradition. Okay? It will take a little time. The number of slides are involved, but we will go through it as far as possible within an hour and a half. Next. Yajna is not a sacrifice. It's yajna. Yajnena kalpantam. Kalpa. Something is getting created. Something is getting made. Something is emerging. Yajnena kalpantam. Prosperity. Prospering through yajna. Yajnena kalpantam. Shukla Yajurveda 18.13. There's a fantastic narrative of Viśpalā in the Shukla Yajurveda who walks with a metallic leg. Also, Rigveda is reporting this in very short mantras. We will travel through a metals age based on the archaeological evidence of the Karshapana, again mentioned also in the Vedic tradition. They are recorded on a silver vase where the rishis, ritrijas are at work producing something using a perforated vessel and some basket holding some kind of ingots. Then we have the images of the priests of Mundigak and Mohenjo-daro. Mundigak priest wears a particular fillet on the forehead. Mohenjo-daro priest wears fillet on the forehead and also on the right hand shoulder. That fillet has got a small little circle dot, like a bead being tied on the forehead. On the Mundigak priest, you can see the archaeological site. It's a remarkable site with pillars and all that, a fortification. And it has got a flow on the fillet. And there's a comparable archaeological find is of the Mohenjo-daro priest wearing a fillet made of gold, inlaid with some remarkable material, gold fillet, which compares, and it has been obviously held on both sides through a string to be tied to the forehead and also on the right hand shoulder. And remarkably, these are recorded in Vedic texts. This process of investiture ceremony of the priests. It's also recorded in the Bactrian silver vase on the right side. 8 rituals are shown on that silver vase of Bactria. Then we also have a fillet found in Mohenjo-daro showing the standard device on the fillet, which also is a fillet which would have been worn on the forehead or on the right shoulder, like a patta. The dotted circle is a very important visual representation signifying wealth. We will go through it a number of lexical references. So among the 8 Rithvids, or 3 Rithvids, one is called Hotru, second is a Potru, and third is a Brahman. The flow could relate to a Brahman. So the Mundigak priest could have been a Brahman priest. The Mohenjo-daro priest is a Potru, because Pota is a bead, gold bead. Potru. Poti in Malayalam, a Malabar priest. Potadhara in Marathi, Poddar in Oriya. They are metal workers, shroffs, who evaluate metal and purification of the metals. They are purifiers of metal. So if the perforated bead can be seen as a perforated bead as a dot with a circle of the induscript, it's a signifier of Pota bead. Rebus in Telugu is Pota, Pota metal infusion. Potru, purifier priest, Rigveda, Ritvij. Potadhara, Poddar, Oriya, Marathi, an officer under native governments. His business was to assay all money paid into the treasury. He was also the village silversmith, Marathi, Oriya. Thus, smelter, metal infusion, assayer a metals profession. In the Bactrian silver vase, there are 2 layers of narratives. The top layer is the narrative of 8 Rithvids performing the Yajna. The bottom portion is the layer showing plowmen at work, agriculture is at work, and after the agricultural process which is narrated using a plow, plowshare, and bullock, drawing the plow, a person is waving in the right hand and carrying some kind of a tablet. You could be carrying a karshapana or a pana. You could be a merchant. You could have been the person of the induscript tradition carrying the pana, the coin equivalent, something that indicate the documents, wealth ledgers, or metal manifests, which could have been carried by them and into a vast region, a maritime trade activities. Okay, this is the background. So, Shukla Yajurveda, Rigveda mentioning a Viśpalā, walking with a metallic leg, a narrative. The narratives of the priests decorated with fillets, gold fillets, and the Bactrian silver vase narrating the Yajna of firework. And also recording a contra narrative of agriculturists at work and producing their wealth. And seeing the linguistic tradition of the Poddar and Potru, Pota, bead. Next, please. The celebration of the Rigveda of Viśpalā, who got Jangam Ayasi. She got a metallic leg. Ayasa, alloying metal. Ayasa, iron metal. She got an iron metallic leg. Who gave them? Who no. So it was made. How did it happen? By merely taking the earth and stones and putting it into fire, out emerges something of value, something of metallic. Ayasi. So they are given by the divine intervention of Ashwins. So this is celebration of a prayer to the Ashwins in the Rigveda, celebrating the Viśpalā lady getting the metallic leg. She had lost the leg. They are restored by these medical people, Ashwins. So the metallic leg is related to the Ayurvedic tradition of the Ashwins and also to the metallurgical tradition of the making of metals. You can read the text of our Rigveda 1.112.10. Yabir Viśpalam Dhanasam Atharvyam Sansrim Ilre Aja Vajinvatam Yabir Vasamakyam Purenim Ayavatam Pamiroshu Udibir Asvinagatam. What is the meaning translated from the scholars who are very able to interpret the Rigveda with very meticulous care? With those aids by which you enabled the opulent Viśpalā, when she was unable to move, to go to the battle, get thousands of spoils, and by which you protected the devout Vasha, the son of Ashwa, with them Ashwins, unwillingly. Yajna comments on this Rigvedic mantra. Viśpalā was the wife of Kela, son of Agastya. Ashwins, glorified by the presence of the son of the jar and giving food, nourishers of men, to the said Bharadwaja, exalted by Agastya with prayer, you restored Nasatyas and Viśpalā. So, Ashwins achieved two things. They restored Nasatyas, that is the fire avatars, and also Viśpalā. That's what Rigveda 1.117.11 says. Now let us go to the next richa. Again related with Viśpalā. The foot of Viśpalā, the wife of Kela, was cut off. Like the wing of a bird. This engagement by night. In the night, she lost her leg. Immediately, Ashwins gave her a metallic leg so that she might walk. The hidden treasure of the enemy being the object of the conflict. The hidden treasure. The hidden treasure is how the metallic was acquired. That is the Rigveda 1.116.15. Now, comments of Yajna, Rigveda Bhashya. Kela was a king, Agastya was his Purohita. Through his prayers, the Ashwins gave Viśpalā a metallic leg. Not Viśpalā, Viśpalā. That's what the Rigvedic mantra 1.116.15 says. Now another richa, RV 1.118.8. Yuvam dhenum shayave nadeta yapinvatar Ashwina Purvaya. Long time ago, Ashwins gave this. Amuchatam Vartikam Amsamso Nipurati Janga Viśpalāya Adatam. You gave her the legs. Of course, the other Richard described, I see the metallic legs. You filled his whole cow with milk, Ashwins. For the ancient Sayu, when imploring your aid, you liberated and you gave a leg to Viśpalā. Another Richa says, RV 10.39.8. You made young again in the life of the sage Kali. When approaching the old age, you rescued quickly enabled Viśpalā to walk. These are amazing, amazing events narrated related to the metallic age. Ashwins are involved. So something of a creative process using natural resources, the earth and stones, and through the Yajna process, Changa Mayasinium is delivered, the metallic leg is delivered to Viśpalā. This is the supreme achievement of the metallic age. That's why the Rigveda practice eloquent in 10,000 riches. And praise to all the devas. Oh my gods, my gods. Our prayers are there with you. What have you created for us? You are the destiny. You are the givers of wealth. You are the process which has enabled us to achieve this metallic leg for Viśpalā. An astonishing metaphors, astonishing. They are not mere metaphors, they are narratives. Because they remembered. The rishis are remembering that event of Viśpalā getting a metallic leg. An astonishing event, a great narrative of a remarkable event that took place in the metallic age. At the same time, the Rigveda was being chanted and celebrated all over the country, all over the region. Indusscript also was being developed by artisans. Who gave the metallic leg? Who made the metallic leg? Artisans, artificers. The people who are working and documenting the wealth creating ledgers. Metals, alloys, iron. Antiquity of iron has now been proven to be 4th millennium in Shivagala, Tamil Nadu. Next, please. See, there's a literary link provided by the Tocharian dictionary, which uses a word, the Tocharian, anchu. And the linguists feel that this anchu is a derivative from amshu, which is a description of soma in the Rigveda. Amshu is soma. The amshu word in soma of the Rigveda becomes anchu in Tocharian. And anchu means iron. Anchvasi means iron. In the Rigvedic texts and Vedic texts, amshu is a filament of a soma plant. The plant is a metaphor. Something of soma. Soma and metal are somehow linked up together. So that filament is the anshu, iron. It is the end of a thread. So it's like, when you get an ore block of pyrites, including iron, gold, and other metals together, they appear like filaments embedded in stone of rock from the Mount Bhujavant, where soma is obtained. So like threads are minute particles. They appear golden, shiny. That is the ore particles. Thus, amshu and anchu as cognate words recognized in the Tocharian dictionary and documented very brilliantly by the linguist George Pinault, provides us the link between soma, anchu, amshu, and iron, and the metallic leg of Viśpalā. Next, please. Now let us go into the other evidence, other narrative, visual narrative, of an astonishing visual narrative of a Bactria silver vase. Appeared to be from Bactria, but the silver vase is now held in the Ho Museum in Japan. It's a terrific documentation, visual documentation, like the indusscript. 8 priests are at work on the top register. Two, pair, in pair. They are using their hands, symbolizing their recitation and mantras. And in the rightmost segment of the top register, 2 priests are also holding their hands, yaraka, upraised hand, yaraka metal infusion, working with perforated jars and holding some ingots like pellets in a basket And one priest is holding a shankha and proclaiming that they have achieved success in the performance yajna. And later on, they get decorated after successful performance. Look at the priests, they are also wearing the uttariyam like the Mohenjo-daro priest with trefoils and decorations. And those decorations are detailed in the Vedic text of Shatapada Brahmana and also Rigveda in Raidhatavi Ishti, where the investiture ceremony is described in detail in the Vedic text. The bottom register shows the prominent work. Karsha work is going on, plumbing work is going on. Karsha is being produced and being carried by the man holding the right hand upwards on the rightmost side, carrying a tablet, like the induscript tablet. Maybe a copper tablet, which has got record of wealth created. This beautiful illustration of the Bactrian vase provided by the late Adelino Jansen in 1991 is a fantastic visual documentation of a great narrative of the 4th millennium before Common Era, which signified in the both Rigveda and also in the induscript tradition. The 8 priests are listed there, visually presented there on the top register. They are, according to Rigveda 2.1.2, Brahman, Potru, Advaryu, Udgatru, Potru, Agnidru, Udgatru, Neshtra. These are the priests. Exquisite representation in Sagari Shokta. Udgatru may have been replaced by Subramanya, Brahman. Then another Richa, 2.1.2, reads like this. Tvagne hotram tava, potram mrutijam, tavanestram, tavagnidrudayataha, tava prashastram, tamadhirayasi, brahma chasi, grupatischa nodame. So he is now listing the 8 rituals who are presented visually on the Bactrian vase. So we can look upon Rigveda 2.1.2 mantra as a literary representation of the top register of the Bactrian vase of 8 rituals. 8 rituals, Rigvedic priests performing the yajna, producing something. Soma, working with Soma. Okay? Next, please. Now, let us look at the Mohenjo-daro priest. Just as the Bactrian vase shows the priest wearing uttariyam, here is a man wearing uttariyam with 2 significant fillets, one on the forehead, another on the right shoulder, which is the dotted circle. It's like a gold bead, pota, held and strung together. And Adelino Jansen describes a beautiful sitting position, half crouching, half sitting position, whereby the left knee is bent higher than the right one. The left hand holds the right knee, right hand rests flat on the lower thigh. A toga-like garment covers the sculpture's left shoulder and arm, leaving the right shoulder and arm bare, which is the way Yajna is worn, leaving the right shoulder bare. That's also a statue has been found without a head, which is adorned similarly with the uttariyam, leaving the right shoulder bare. The iconographic model perfectly explains at the same time the high position of the left arm, lower bending of the right one, the peculiar robe and the hairdo at Mohenjo-daro. On rear, the hair was collected in a bun, in a pigtail braid and replaced, like the priest king, by a double hanging band. So the pillai were tied together and linked to the hairdo, a bun of the hair. Vidale notes The fragmentary torso strongly suggests that the three limestone heads previously found in Siastan Basin and at Gundighat, as already suggested, looks like some kind of a representation of a very important person who is made into a statue or narrated. Remember, that memory is recognized in these icons, the iconographic models, which have been found archaeologically. Next, please. Now let us look at the bottom register, which is an amazing link with our induscript. Narrative on the bottom register. We can now put words into the process of visual narrative. Sagu, saga, cultivation, sagincham. Saga uni, to send to dispatch of goods, sagisu, Kannada. Then karsha, plowing. Karsha is also an aksha, nishka, like some kind of a coin. A unit of measurement of weight. 1 karsha equals 12 milligrams. 1 shukti, 24 grams. This came in the 15th century, Yogasara Sangraha by Vasudeva. Kerala work. It's an Ayurvedic compendium of medical recipes. Karsha refers to a weight of gold or silver equal to 16 mashas, as occurring in the Anayakanta Jaya Pataka Prakarana, a Shvetambara Jain philosophical work written by Haribhadra Suri. Karsha is a homonym, similar sounding word, which means a weight of gold or silver equal to 16 mashas, according to Kautilya Arthashastra. That's roughly a 6th century BC work, before Common Era work. Karsha in the Indian epigraphical tradition is the name of a weight equal to 80 ratis, same as the Tala. Sometimes regarded as 100 to 120 ratis in weight. Epigraphia Indica, volume 15, page 309. It's the name of a coin, Karsha, a weight of gold or silver equal to 16 masha, which also means that the Karsha also means plowing. So a person with upraised hand holding a tablet on the other hand is Yaraka, upraised hand. Similar sounding word is the reverse, Yaraka, copper, metal infusion. So a copper worker documenting copper wealth ledger is being carried on a tablet by the vendor, money. Karshapana. He holds a patta, a slab or a tablet. There is something written. Patta is a tablet for writing. A plate in general. Shila Bhattam, Adishayana. Adishayana. This is Viśpalā. He holds a patta, lekin, an account book, abbreviation of Pattadara. Probably one has the charter for collecting government revenues. Pattakila is a tenant of a royal edict of a piece of land. Paitala. I submit that the bottom register is a Beluga expression, Karsha plowing, Pana trade. Karsha Pana. Karsha Pana. A measured weight of gold and silver, ancient India, being somehow carried along for a barter transaction. At that point in time, where metal articles signified wealth, which could be bartered. Okay? Next, please. Now let us go back to the top register. What are the 8 literaries? We can list each one of them. Brahman. Recite of the hymns from the Atharva Veda. He is an Atharva Veda priest. Brahman. He is seated with Twashtra called Nestru. Nestru is another name for Twashtra. Artisan signified by the 2 perforated jars and basket of metal ingots. So the person working with the metal ingots and perforated jars is the potru, is the purifier. So he is somehow using the perforated jars for some kind of a purification work in archaeometallurgy. The second is Nestru. Nestru is one of the chief officiating priests of the Soma sacrifice. His responsibility is to lead the wife of the sacrificer, Yagnika, and prepare the Sura, the alkalis, which are put into the perforated jars for cleaning, purifying the metals, impure metals, and creating new pure metals. First two is also so called in Rigveda 1.15.3, signified by the two perforated jars used to infuse carbon element into molten metal to harden the alloy. See, this is how we are trying to impute archaeometallurgical knowledge system into this Rigvedic reflection of the perforated jars and the Bactrian silver vase. The third priest is Hotru, reciter of the invocations. He is the third from the right, holding a palm leaf manuscript. He is holding a manuscript in his hand, so he could be Hotru. Then fourth is Advaryu, in charge of the physical details of the sacrifice, in particular Advara, a term for the Soma Yajna. He is, for performance of Soma Yajna, he is a kind of supervisor, Advaryu. The fifth priest is Agni, the kindler of the fire, because fire is the core source for the performance of the Yajna. So Agni was responsibility was to kindle the fire using the mantana, churning with those turning sticks and creating the fire, sacred fire. Sixth is the potru, purifier, signified by the filter cloth or golden fleece. So one priest is holding the golden fleece, poti cloth, potru, purifier, priest of Rigveda. Could be, we are only making a reasonable link between the images and the words from the Rigveda. The seventh is Achavaka, the inviter. He invites so the priests work together in tandem. Achavaka is one of the priests who is an inviter of the devas, the divine entities who are performing together this Yajna process. Agni is only an instrument, he is only a priest. Agni is a priest. Agni is a Vahana. Then the eighth one could be Maitra Varana, assistant priest of the Hotru. So priests 7th and 8th are from the right, signifying Maitra Varana and Achavaka. So we are able to reasonably identify the 8 retreats on the Bactrian silver vase top register. It's a reasonable concordance. Next, please. Yajnena kalpantam. Yajna purifies gold, alloy metal, bronze, copper, lead, tin. These are all listed in the Vasordhadi mantra of Yajurveda 18.13. What is the purification that's being done? Ashmacha me, Mritikacha me, Griyascha me, Varudascha me, Jagatascha me, Manaspatyascha me, Hiranyamcha me, Yascha me, Shamamcha me, Rohamcha me, Sisamcha me, Tarpuscha me, Yagnena kalpantam. Yajna purifies gold, alloy metal, bronze, copper, lead, tin. Yajurveda, Adhyaya 18, Mantra 13. Is recorded in the Vedic tradition. These are the metals that are being purified in the Yajna. These are the metals being purified in the Yajna documented in the Vedic gems of the induscript. Karshapana. Indian epigraphical documentation shows the name of a gold, silver, or copper coin. One karsha of 80 ratis in weight. Name of a silver coin of 32 ratis in different periods of time. It's called a Purana, Dharana, or called a Ganda, Gandamada, or Nishka, or Ganda Nishka. Variety of names. So how the semantic evolution takes place on the basic Nishka, basic Karsha, Karshapana. The weight of a copper or gold coin of Karshapana equivalent to 80 or 100 ratis. Copper Karshapana was also called Pana, Kahapana, Prakrit for Sanskrit Karshapana. Kahana, Pali, Prakrit. So now we are able to see the match between the Bhaktiyan ways, the Vedic texts, and the tradition of the Karshapana recorded in the economic historical traditions of Atharvaveda and other epigraphical records. Then we see the perforated vessels and the basket holding some kind of pellets or ingots. Calcination of metals is taking place in the yajna. Purification of metals is taking place in the yajna. Next please. Agnena Kalpantam. Maritime cargo. What is the result of this? Now the cargo begins. Merchants start operating. Seafaring merchants are brought into action. Sagu. Saga. Cultivation. Tillage. Saga Uni. To send and dispatch. The padi. For trade. Sagisu. To carry on. To go on. On a ship. Cultivation. Sagisu. To keep or bring it to state of cultivation. Sagu. Sagu Agu. Sagavali, cultivation, Sagavali, Sagabadi, Telugu, Sagabadi, Sagabali, Sagavali, Sagabadi, Saga advance, Sagavali, 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 farming, tillage, Dravidian dictionary entries, Tulu, Kannada. Sagubadi Telugu. Next, please. So the bottom register, which shows the trader with the raised upraised right hand, Yaraka, this metal infusion, and a tablet holding a tablet, is a proving narrative or induscript hypertext. Potram signifies a plowshare, as shown in the narrative of the Bhaktiyan ways. This is semantic reinforcement of the potram, the office of the purifier priest. Potram. So look at it, they are playing on words and images. Pairs of bulls, unicorn or spiny horn, young bull signifies kunda, singly, fine gold, ornament gold. Thus the narrative of the plowman are representations of interscript wealth creating activities of Belga artisans of Saraswati civilization. Pota Vanij, a seafaring merchant. Shiva Purana refers to Pota Vanija. His right hand also is an induscript hieroglyph, Yaraka, right hand. Similar sounding word, rebus, Yaraka, molten cast, metal infusion. Arka, another word, similar, Arka, copper gold. Arka Shala is gold with workshop, Akasale. Thus the rightmost person is a seafaring merchant of the goldsmith workshop. He is a scribe because he is able to write on a tablet. He is carrying some information on the tablet. A seafaring merchant, signified by the tablet, he carries in the raised hand, shown in the bottom register of the Bhaktiyan ways. Next, please. Pana. Pana is the trader. He is holding a patta. Pattike. Pattike. Hattike. A tablet, a document, a list. Pana is a weight of copper used as a coin. Manusmriti, Agnivalkya. A commodity for sale, price, wealth or property. According to Hevachandra, Alayida and other lexicons. And see, we have a lot of resources. Lexical resources, Vedic resources, induscript resources. Patta is patra, could be from patra, a slab or a tablet, painting or writing upon. A copper plate for inscribing royal grants or orders, tamra patra. Patta is a plate or a tablet. It's a tail of a coin. Patta. Royal grant or order written on copper plate. Patta is one of the tattvamas of a tablet or painting, a plate of metal for inscription. Patta. Patta is a royal grant. Patta. Pattike. Pattike, hattike. The trader holds and left hand a patta. A plate in general. A royal grant could be Patra, a tablet or a plate for painting, or a document. So now we can see the 9,000 plus induscript inscriptions are all documents. So the documents are being carried as indicators of the produce which are of wealth, possessions, goods, property items produced through a process of metalwork in the fire. Next, please. Pana, it's a coin. Trader. Another word, Pana also means a trader, a compact, an agreement. So the Pana signifies some kind of a trade. So the documentation of the bacterian space is the production of archaeometallurgical work and creating a trade activity through Pana or Shapana. A condition or compact. Sandhim karot bhavatam drupati panena. An agreement is reached with Pana. Wealth or property is Pana. Business or transaction is Pana. In Mahabharata. A shop is Pana. A seller is a Pana. A vendor is a Pana. Trade and traffic are Pana. So Pana is a very important word. Karsha Pana refers to trade. Karana in the induscript also refers to trade. Karana is a documentation accounting system. So these are all the words which are now in the guild speech or the Meluga Desi Bhasha get recorded in the induscript writing system. Next, please. Karshika is a plowman, a farmer. Karshapanaka is a vital measure. Karshapana, Karshapanaka, a plowing, weight and trade. Look at the way the words get matched in a significant metaphorical expansion. Karsha plowing is related to Karsha Pana. Karsha trade using weights and measures. Karsha Panaka. Karshika has been explained in a number of texts as a plowman or a farmer. Punar labham labanti Karshika. He is a person who comes on produces wealth. He produces the wealth of the nation. Karsha also is a measure. It's plowing according to the Sabdasagara, some English dictionary. Karshika is a person who lives by farming. The Amarakosha says Karshika is a measure of money. Karshika and Pana are kinds of coinage. Chiraswamin defines them in the Amarakosha Kosal Ghatana, a beautiful treatise in Amarakosha, defines the Karshika and Pana as follows. Karsha, Pana and Karshika, the silver Karshas, when the Karsha is Pana, approximately they are equal to 18 Shvetakas. Karsha Sambandhina Panyate, Yokriyatena, Rupya Rupakena, Karsha Panaha. Karsha Pramanamasya Karshikaha. Tamramayam is full of copper. Karsha Pramanam to Rupyam Panaha. Rupya. It's a coin. Pana. Tanmulyam Yopacharat Achitaha Svetakaha. Svetakaha. Amara Kosal Ghatana of Shiraswamin. A brilliant study written by Yamuna Devi in 2012. Sixteen of these latter Karshikas make one silver dharana or purana. According to Manusmriti, Karsha as a copper is equal to Pana. Manusmriti 8.136. Next, please. Now let us take a jump to a different discipline, induscript. Here's the remarkable seal. This is an account of iron, tin alloy metal, ingots, articles, Smithy workshop. It's a fantastic scene. Found in fact. Go through each symbol carefully. I wouldn't have to read it. You can read them. The field symbol is the elephant. Kariba, Iba, elephant. Karba is iron. Iba is elephant. Sounding what is Ib, iron. Ibo is a merchant. So the grapheme could be something like a ingot coming out of a crucible. An ingot coming out of a crucible. Crucible under fire. So on the top is a coal working in iron. Coal, smelting. Something as a result of a melting in a crucible. A new ingot getting created from the kutaru, crucible. Kutaru is an armor. Something, it could be a sprout, Uru is a bar ingot. So ingot or forge workshop is being indicated by the sign, the two signs. The other sign 65, sign 59, I of fish, I as alive metal. Then the person holding the bow and arrow, Kantio or archer. So sounding word Kamata, mint, coin, Kamata workshop. So the archer sign together with the sign 59 I of fish indicates the alloy metal workshop. Then sign 249 is Ranko liquid measure, Ranko tin. Wow. Sign 162, Kulmo rice plant, Kulbi Smithy. Then the famous sign 342, Karana account trade. This is industry. So now we are able to see words from the Karshapana, words from the bacteria cellular waste, words from the Viśpalā mentioned in the Rig Veda, getting a metallic leg, are all related to the metals age. Next, please. Now, let us look at the perforated jar shown on the top register of the bacterial waste. Shatapada Brahmana mentions this perforated waste. A waste with 100 holes. Satamatrana. There is perforations, hundreds of perforations in the patra. It's called a perforated pot. Pot with 100 holes. Mahidara use is made of this pot at this juncture, much the same as described in the other texts of the Rig Veda. Two poles are driven into the ground, north and south of southern fire. The bamboo stick right thereon. On a string fastened to the stick, the pot containing a tail whisk for shining and a piece of gold is then made to hang over the fire. And the remains of the sura liquor poured into the perforated jar. While it trickles through the fire, the priest makes the sacrifice and now pronounce the verses. Matters of different kinds of departed ancestors. Ancestors have given us the techniques of metallurgy. The sura used in the pot is clearly a herbal extract which performs the functions of a calcination by infusing carbon into molten metal in the fire order. Carbon strengthens the iron to makes it steel. That's calcination. Calcination of metal results in oxidation of the metal. The metal oxide is created. That's the job of the perforated jar. So we are able to link up the Shatapada Brahmana description with the archaeometallurgical knowledge system, which are described in the alchemical texts, brilliantly documented by P.C. Ray, Professor Ray. In the Hindu History of Hindu Chemistry, 2 volumes. Next, please. Let's look at the locations of Mundigak, Shagari Sokta, in relation to Mohenjo-daro. So this is a map which shows the locations of Mundigak, Shagari Sokta, which are folk historic centers of metalwork. Next, please. So, investiture ceremony is described in Satapatha Brahmana. So, the priests, after performance of the yajna, the 8 priests, are celebrated in a great ceremony called Traidatavi Ishti. Investiture is for a Brahman and other Ritvij. Yajnacha Devam Ritvijam. Bacteria silverware is evidence for the Karushala, artificer workshop. The signifiers are Brahma, similar sounding word, Barama, Litt or gimlet, Kantala, churning vessel, as shown on this golden fillet, and on the standard device it's shown in hundreds of induscript inscriptions. The bottom device is a churning container. Kantala. Kantala means maritime activity, maritime trade. Signified are Brahman, Yajna priest, Kantala, maritime trade. Kantala means maritime or boat. Kantala boat. Kotiya boat. Kotiya, Kotri we have seen. The unicorn is also a boat. A seafaring vessel. Next, please. So we are now dealing with the shapes of thought. So we can visualize them as a Bactrian vase, redrawn by as done by Anson, showing the work that is being carried out by our ancestors. So these are records of our ancestral life activity. Artificer workshop. Karana is a scribe or accountant. Kulakarani is an accountant. Karana is trade. Karana is a day book. Karana is a tablet. Raka is the upraised hand. Raka also means metal infusion. Next, please. So we go back to the recollecting the wheat shaft, Koduma, which decorate the Chashala, which infuses carbon element into the molten infusion. That's the Yajna process described in other texts. To harden iron into crucible steel and produce hard cast iron ingots. This process of Godoma fuels is described in the Vedic texts. Next, please. So, how is the crucible steel produced? By infusing carbon into iron to produce ukku, Telugu word, ukku, crucible steel. Goduma infuses the fumes and oxidizes the impurities, oxidizes the metal and creates carbonated iron, which is steel. That's about the description of the Chashala. Chashala Ashtashri, Goduma ring, octagonal quadrangular yupa. Okay? Which we have seen in the Yajna Kunda of Anupgad for a Messar site of Binchor. Next, please. So the crucibles, the perforated vessels, perforated jars, as shown in the Bactrian silver vase, we have found them from an archaeological context. 2 foot episode, A2 3 crucibles, one of which is about 2 inches high with a pierced body. Then A245 is a crucible of 2.5 inches long, narrow bottom. Then C, third one, is a terracotta cone, 2.25 inch, with indicating sacred thread, a conical implement. Okay, these are all archaeological evidences of the perforated jars. Next, please. So, artificer workshop is signified in the Bactrian silver vase. Ploughing is indicated. Chal is furrow in ploughing. Shala is workshop. So, ploughing, Karsha, Chal, Karsha, weight, coin, money, shawl, workshop. So, metal workshop. Karshapana, Karsha Chal. Next, please. So, Satapana Brahmana described in detail the investiture ceremony of the priests after successful performance of Yajna. This is called Traidatavi Ishti, signified by the fourth gold bead or a pectoral tied on the forehead and right shoulder. And also there is a trefoil on the shawl of the potu. The trefoil also is described in Satapana Brahmana, how they are embroidered into the shawl. So now we can see they are all validated in the discovery of the river Saraswati, the paleo channels. On the banks of the river Saraswati, the Binjor Arkanub website, where the Ashtastra Yupa has been found, together with some seals. So the Saraswati basis for performance of this Yajna process. All sites of Saraswati show Yajnakundas, evidences, Kalibangan, Lothal, and so on. Next, please. So this is the river Saraswati that has been found. Look at the majority of the sites on the river Saraswati, which is shown in green here, are identified with the old paleo channels, virtually parallel to the Indus system, which is recorded in an encyclopedia in France, Sapta-Sindhu region. Next, please. These are all the places where work is going on, life activity is going on, Yajna performance is going on, metal work is going on. Next, please. Patta tablet. You can see more detail for the patta. The gold ornament on the forehead. Satapata Brahmana. Traidatavi Ishti. So we can really relate the Brihad Samhita reference of gold ornament for the forehead with the Satapata Brahmana description of the Traidatavi Ishti investiture ceremony. Next, please. Look at the archaeological finds. Similar coins have been found, buttons have been found, which could have been embroidered into the shawl. Trayambaka, 3 eyes, 3 coppers. Trayambaka is the divine Jyotirlinga in Nasik. Button or sequin made a thin gold foil. The 3 of these foils together become the trefoil Trayambaka on the road. Trayambaka could be 3 eyes or 3 coppers. 3 metal tokens sewn into the embroidered into the shawl. Next, please. Now we can see how the Balarama Tirtha Yatra goes through these sites which have been described in the Mahabharata, which can be identified with a careful local surveys on the Saraswati river basin. Places like Prabhasa, Dwaraka, Udapana, Chamasodbeda could be identified by the nature of the bifurcation that has taken place in the old paleo channels of Saraswati. Paksha Prasavana is the place where Balarama reaches and returns after 42 days. Next, please. So these are all the places that have been mentioned, visited by Balarama. These are all very precise evidences. We have to match them with each of the sites. It's a very tough work that has got to be done to describe the Balarama Tirtha Yatra on the ground. Next, please. Places to the north of Abhira, Subhubika, Vinasana, Sankha, Kamekavana, they're all mentioned in the text. So we can make a reasonable match with the geopolitical map and the riverine maps of Saraswati region, Saraswati river region, Saraswati river system region, and try to identify those spots which also match with the archaeological sites. Next, please. Now we also have astronomical evidence of Balarama's Tirtha Yatra, which matches with the astronomical evidences of the sky map of those days when the pilgrimage was performed. According to the late Narahari Achar, Balarama sets off on the pilgrimage on Sarasvati on Pushya Day, November 1, 3067 before Common Era. Then he goes to Kurukshetra, witnesses the Gada Yuddham between Duryodhana and Bhima, and comes back saying, I want to participate in the war because I got my agricultural work to continue, I got my welfare work to continue, wealth creation activity is more important than this war. He goes back. So where is Anupgar? Where is Vinashana? Where is Paksha Prasravana? And where are these archaeological sites? Shalyaparva, the Mahabharata, gives details of the Balarama Tirtha Yatra. We got geopolitical maps which show the flow of the river and the archaeological sites. So we have multidisciplinary approaches to be made to pin down and recreate the history of ancient times. Next, please. So this is Bijor, where at Anupgar, this Yajna has been found with Ashtashri Yupa. So Yupa is only a symbol, it's a Ketu. It's a symbolic representation of a Ashtashri Yupa, which had the Chashala, the Goduma, for infusing carbon into the metal, iron, to make it hard. This is a landsat image which shows Anupgar, where the river channel split, and one channel goes towards Jaisalmer south, and one channel goes westwards towards Marot and into Cholistan in Pakistan, beyond the border. Next, please. Yupa inscriptions have been found. Bijor, you got an inscription. Ashtashri Yupa, you got Ashtashri Yupas, 18 of them. Brilliantly documented by Vogel, Director General of Archaeology in 1910. They found in all places, including the forest. They found in Ishapur, they found in. But there is a record on these Yupas that Yajna was performed, Satra was performed. And all these Yupas carry inscriptions saying a Soma Yaga was performed. That is the significance of the octagonal Yupa. Next, please. This is where a seal has also been found in Pinjore, together with the Ashtashri Yupa, octagonal Yupa, which signifies the Soma Yajna was performed at this place. And the seal records what was the result. That's a bird, Polodu, black drango. Polodu is Polada, steel. Steel has been produced. Next, please. Details of the seal. Poladu, black drango. Similar sounding word, Polad, steel. The painted parts of Nosharo also shows is a move with a black drango. The other signs also read in the context of the wealth that has been produced and documented on the seal. Alloy implements, ironwork, smelting, so on. Coinage, combatum, mint work. Next, please. Now we can see a vectoral, beautiful M1656, which describes the unicorn and the Kantala on the shoulder, the double bag, Kantala maritime trade is going on here, documented in the induscript. And the bottom container of the standard device is Kantala, turning vessel, Kantala, maritime trade, maritime boat. Next, please. So there has been movement of the people from Lothal, Dholavira, Marot, Bijor, Kalibangan, Kurukshetra, Rakigadi, and so on. And also into the Ganga Yamuna basin. So the expansion of the people, of the civilization over millennia. Movement of people from Northwest Bharat, from about 4000 before Common Era. Though that we are able to link it up to the antiquity of iron, which has been found in Shivagalai, dated to 4th millennium before Common Era. Iron work, metal work. Next, please. So, photograph showing the reality of the paleo channels of the Saraswati River, where all the sites were there, where people would work, producing this wealth. Next, please. More detailed geographical work related to the river Saraswati, showing the paleo channels. Next, please. Now we are merging disciplines together, identifying the river, identifying the settlements, identifying the language they spoke, identifying life activity. Look at the number of sites on the river mouth in the Ran of Kutch, Gujarat region, close to Bedwaraka, and Ran of Kutch, and Gulf of Kambat. Next, please. More sites, more details of the geographical work that has been done to identify the river. Next, please. Saraswati Delta structure in Ran of Kutch. And it flowed beyond into Lothal. Next, please. So look at the clusters of sites, archaeological sites in the paleo channels. A remarkable match between the geography and archaeological settlements. Next, please. Archaeological sites, river channels. Next, please. Satellite images showing the picture of the river Saraswati. It can be seen as paleo channels, recorded by ISRO's work and endorsed by NASA's Landsat images. Next, please. $3,500 years before present, this was the situation of the flow of waters. It's a navigable channel. It was navigable right through, right from Pracha down to Ran of Kutch and into the Persian Gulf, into Tigris Euphrates in Mesopotamia. It was navigable channel. Next, please. So maritime activity was possible on the river system. So the GIS portal of the Saraswati paleo channels of Bhuvan can be matched with the texts of the Rig Veda, the archaeological references, and the induscript tradition of inscriptions of 9,000 inscriptions. Next, please. They can all be matched together. You can recreate the history, economic history of our country. How the wealth was created using the water resources, the navigation resources, and the resources found from the Kaitiri mines and other mines. Next, please. Evolution of the river system has been well documented in all these texts. Next, please. River and the Bharatiya civilization are coexistent. Now we are able to get a want to learn the language of the system, language of the Saraswati civilization, the mother language, the lingua franca, the Melotha language, the guild speech. We are able to get the voice, give voice to our people, our ancestors, thanks to the decipherment of the induscript. Next, please. We are able to recreate the growth of the Himalayas and the way the river undergo environment changes because of the tectonic events and the lay of the rivers flowing from the Himalayas, creating the greatest water tower in the world. Next, please. Tectonic events have been recorded. Next, please. Location of Akigadi is very critical. It is the largest site of the civilization, which could have been a transshipment point, linking up Saraswati River system with the Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Doab. As a riverine transshipment point. Next, please. Akigadi on the right bank of River Yamuna and left bank of River Saraswati. We were recreating the location of Akigadi in the context of the old paleo channels, old channels of the river systems. Next, please. Now we can also see the reasons why the tectonic events created tears in the Shivalik ranges. One tear created a system whereby the Yamuna flew eastwards, away from Saraswati. Another tear shows Satluj going away westwards. So Yamuna tear, this is one. Next, please. This is two, Satluj tear. So Satluj broke away westwards. Tear one created Yamuna flowing eastwards. So that was the desiccation of the river Saraswati. Next, please. So Purananuru says copper workers of Dwaraka moved south towards Chera kingdom. நீயே வடபால் முனிவன் தலைவினுள் தோன்றி செம்பு புனைந்து ஈற்றிய சேண்ணடும் விரிசை ஒவ்வொரா ஓகை தோரை ஆண்டு 49 வழிமுறை வந்த 14 generations ago, you Velir came from Dwaraka, and there in Dwaraka you created these copper forts, copper or metallic forts. This is signified in the metaphor of the Urdhva Tandava of the Nataraja's dance, like the Himalayas rising, lifted up with the Indian plate, lifting up the Himalayas. They are rising even today due to tectonic events, plate tectonics. Next, please. So we have the archaeological evidence linked to the Traitata Ishti in the Satapada Brahmana. We have whole segments of this kind were sewn into the Uttariyam of the Mohenjo-daro priest. Next, please. Now we know how this is sewn in. We have the tradition of the Kachi ladies producing these sewn garments. Shabda Kalpadruma, desired object. Tridhatu Ishti is what? A desired object is created. Tridhatu. So 3 coppers are used. 3 are together create a trefoil. So it's a ceremony is described. In such ceremonies are described even in the Rajasuya coronation of the king. Now we are talking about the coronation of the priests who have performed the Paskasval Yajna. Ishti. Tridhatavi Ishti. Tridhatu is 3 minerals. Tridhatu also means Ganesha. Next, please. Ritual evidence for university ceremony, Satapada Brahmana. I have given all the details, which describe how the gold coins are created, how they are embroidered into the shawl, how the priests are anointed in the investor ceremony. And one of them is the Potru, who is a purifier priest. We have found him in Mohenjo-daro wearing that dotted circle gold bead. That is the result of the Rukma is sewn into the cloth, and the Potru, who is Pota, is tied into the fillet of the forehead on the right shoulder. Next, please. So textual, archaeological, traditional evidence can be matched together. So Tridhatu, as I told you, these 3 minerals means Ganesha. So Ganesha's tradition, the fillet or ribbon headband tradition, the priest king tradition, they are related to this beadwork, metalwork. Next, please. The objective of the Yajna is achieved. Now we can have the university ceremony. The declaration. You can blow the Shankar. Tretata Vishti provides for attainment of three minerals have been achieved: copper, silver, gold have been purified through the Yajna. Agnena Kalpatam, Agnena Kalpantam. So you can go back to the Rigveda. Suktam 4.9.3. Hota mandro divishtishu uta pota dishidati. So potru and purifier priest and hota have done this job. Agnasya netari. See, 2.5.2 talks about netru, pota. So all these priests are mentioned as having achieved the successful performance of Yajna. Next, please. Investor ceremony, tying of the, embroidering the sequins into the shawl. Next, please. The cultural context is Atmata Brahmana, 13.6.2.17. Raidata Vishti is the final offering. Udasaniya, the mystic import of it is the same. Presentation of gold coins, that's the import. Gold coins are either tied with gold bead fillets on the forehead or right shoulder of the priest. 5.5.5.16, 3 gold pieces of 100 manas each for the sacrificial fee for the priests. They get them. They have achieved success in the Yajna. Next, please. Again, 13.2.10. In the night, see, the metaphors are fantastic. 3 kinds of needles are used: copper ones, silver ones, gold ones. Look at the wordings that are used in the text. Metalwork, metalwork, metalwork. Something of a wealth creating activity has taken place in the Yajna. And they are celebrated by the sewing in and the buttons in the shawls of the people of this successful achieved by the priests. Celebration. Next, please. (13.3.4) further describes it. 3 oblations are given. And they are offered in iron bowl, metallic. So animals are metaphors. They are all presented and tied to the stupas. Celebration. Raidata Vishti. Next, please. Raidata Vishti is the final offering. Next, please. 5th Brahmana. Look at the Brahmanas again and again to the metaphorical signification of the use of the thunderbolt by infusing Goduma into the molten metal and hardening it. Calcification. The kshara that is used in the perforated vessels for achieving this. Udasaniya Ishti, completing the oblation. Udasaniya Ishti. Next, please. 5th Brahmana again. 3 gold pieces of 100 manas each are offered. Next, please. Now we found a very unusual object in Anupgarh. We don't know what it is. I'm only making a guess. That ball could signify Ukkam, a ball. Ukka is a furnace or forge of a smith. Ukka is a cooking pot. Ukku, Urku, steel woods. I'm just thinking that this ball shown on this kind of a crucible type of pot signifies some kind of a steel work being processed in Anupgarh, Pinchor, which had the signifier Diketu, the octagonal Ashtashri Yupa. Next, please. So, details of the find have been recorded. We don't know what it is. I'm only making a guess. Next, please. Ukkam, Ukka, furnace or forge or smith. Uhmai, Uriya, movable stove or brazier. Uhmai, Ukku. So a brazier is being used, a portable furnace is being used to produce steel ingots. Ukkam, Ukku. There are other words which are similar sounding related to heat, Ushma, Ushma, Ushna, Ushma. Comparative Dictionary, Indo-Aryan languages. 2441, 2442. Next, please. More lexical references related to Ukkam. Ukkam also means gold. Ukkam means heat. Ukku is steel. Ukkam, Ukku, Ukku, steel, woods. Urku, Urku, melt, smelt. Urku is the Tamil word for smelting. Ukku, steel, strength, courage, Telugu. Vigor. Ukku Tanaka, a bit of steel wire, Ukku Tige, Telugu. Next, please. Ukka, cooking pot, Prakrutam. You also see it in Oriya. Urku, steel, woods, Ukkam, gold. Next, please. Circle could be Kataka, orb, Yupa Kataka, a wooden ball, caught on the top of a Yajna post. Kataka is a caravan or army. Yupa Kataka. Wooden ring at the top of a sacrificial post is Shashala. Yupa Kataka. Next, please. Kataka is an army, a caravan, an army at work, an army of artisans, an army of seafaring merchants. In a Kataka, a camp, or a capital, a fortified place, a cantonment. So most of the sites of the civilization have enforcement of some kind of fortification. Some mud walls are built up, some brick walls are built to secure the place where some wealth is being created. Next, please. Kataka. Katak becomes the capital of Orissa, a tableland, an army. Kataka also means a basket, which is sometimes shown on the standard device as a basket. Kataka. Next, please. Katakam is a sphere. Kataha is a boiler. So something related to metal infusion work. Some activities going on related to metal work. Production of steel, Ukku. Next, please. Kataha, a dvipa, which also means a dvipa in Malay states, in Malaya. Next, please. Kataka. So it relates to the work of the armies from Kataka. Conquest of Burma is recorded from archaeological series. Next, please.
Sir, the presentation is completed.
Yeah, now we can see a multidisciplinary approach which enables us to relate the induscript and the language that is spoken by the people to the narratives that are recorded in the Vedic texts, in visual documentation like the Bactrian silver vase, in the visual documentation by the 9,000 scripts of the Indus field, all related to one major life activity, producing wealth. So now, Tridatavishti, Yajna being performed and purified, described in the Vedic text. Tridatavishti, invested ceremony described in the Rathavada Brahmana, a Vedic text. Archaeological material matching with these descriptions. So we are able to create a narrative of combination of multidisciplinary documentation, archaeometallurgy, trade activity, trade documentation, wealth documentation, wealth ledgers, and metaphorical references to the prayers of the divinities, to the divinities who made this possible. So we don't have to look upon each of these texts as compartments. They can all be integrated together in the context of the life activity of the people. Look at the number of sites, 2,600 sites in this civilization, 80% of which are on the banks of the river Sarasvati. And now we find that it is not restricted to this region, it's spread all over the country. We can see later how the Panchmar coins, the mints, were extending from Taksha through Iran in Madhya Pradesh to Karur in Tamil Nadu and Anuradhapura in Sri Lanka. So the Panchmar coin traditions are a continuation of the metallic tradition of the induscript, the metallic tradition of the Rig Veda. The words that are used in those texts seem to have a resonance. They are all memories remembered, documented in these dictionaries. Prakatam dictionary, Gujarati dictionary, Tamil dictionary, Telugu dictionaries, and so on. So we are able to use the resources of the lexical repertoire, resources of the Vedic texts, and the resources of the inscriptions, which are also pictorial visual representations. So if we are able to match these symbols with the words spoken by the ancient people and relate them to the life activities and what they achieved. Finally, what they achieved is the wealth of a guild. They were all working together in a fortified place. They were working like an army, very disciplined. A guild governed by Srinivasan Dharma, sharing the wealth, not consuming only for themselves, sharing with everybody. The agriculturists were at work, producing karsha. The karsha pana merchants are at work, taking the wealth produced for purpose of trade, barter. So the phenomenal documentation that is made available to us in thousands of texts, thousands of words in lexicons of more than 25 languages of our country and region, have enormous resources and information available to us. We have to unearth that information. That is decipherment. So in this process of describing the link between the disciplines, we are able to achieve something extraordinary. We are able to understand why the Veda is revered. They are prayers to something divine that's happening. Otherwise, how do you explain mere stone and sand thrown into the fire, producing wealth, producing the metals, and their techniques as they evolved? Some inspiration of the people. Who gave the inspiration? Something divine is happening. The artifice that is produced by the artificers, the artisans, the Vishwakarmas of the civilization, have produced the wealth. Wealth becomes the richest nation in the world by one common era, according to Angus Madison. This is someone's substance of the decipherment. Linking up the Rigvedic tradition, linking up the induscript, linking up the lexicons, linking up the reconstruct the guild speech called the Meluha. Meluha is Melaka of a company. Melaka is a company. It's given by his throat. Melaka is made up of arka, the spoke wheel, sark in Pashto. Arka is copper and gold. Arkasala, copper and gold workshops. Arkasale. So they have different connotations in spiritual context, different connotations in the economic context, as recorded in the Arthashastra and Arakamiras. Documentation, Sulva Sutra's documentation of the performance of Yajna, the creation of Yajna Kundas, and the upas being installed as symbols of performance of yajna. The symbolic tying of the fillet on the forehead and right shoulder. These are all very important significations of semiotics, interpretation of symbols, which are traditionally revered. This tradition has got to be respected, which are recorded in the information sources we have discussed. The decipherment should be a comprehensive effort by a group of multidisciplinary workers and scholars and students to investigate into this remote past and to pay a tribute to our Pitrus, our elders, who have given us this great, great tradition of dharma. Tena tyaktena bhujita. Enjoy through sacrifice. Don't keep everything for yourself. Share it. Create a commonwealth. That is the summary of the presentation. So it's a cohesive narrative linking up these images from a variety of sources and leaving us to think for ourselves whether it's right or wrong. You decide. You are the judge. Your conscience is the judge. But the tradition stays, documentation stays. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful live today, wonderful session today. So we will meet in the next week, same time. Thank you very much, sir. I'm closing the line now.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram.